Hey besties, welcome back to MrunMystique. Curious minds and chaotic vibes. And today we are going deep, folks. Not emotionally drowning, but like wading with the floaties. This episode is all about dad advice, real talks, regrets, generational gaps, and asking questions we usually avoid with an awkward family dinner. But today we are going there. I have a very special guest with me today, my dad. Hi Papa, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hi, Mrunmay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dad?
I'm good, thanks, babe.
So, grab your tea, your tissue, or your trauma. Let's go wisdom fishing, our first part of the podcast. So, the first question is, what is one lesson you learned the hard way?
Actually, I believe in time punctuality. If you want to focus, if you want to grow in your life, you have to be punctual. You have to be disciplined, and you have to be organized yourself.
Okay. So, the next question is, when did you actually feel like an adult for the first time?
Truly speaking, I become adult at very little age, very young age. I will say it just is probably years of 10 years when I was that time I become adult because the situation where I grown up, the environment has allowed me to become adult rather than staying as a child.
Yeah, so, the circumstances kind of forced you to grow up quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the next question is, do you think it's better to play it safe or take risk?
It depends upon the situation. It depends upon the what task are you doing. But as a growing in a growing environment, you should always take a risk. You cannot always play safe and stay at your desk. If you always do play safe, then you won't grow in your life. So sometimes it is always good to have take risk, take the challenges, and challenge yourself. Because if you try to play safer side, then you are limiting yourself. You are not allowing your body, your mind, or your brain to expand and look at the best out of you.
Right. That's a good answer, I would say. Is there something you regret not doing?
Yeah, as I said, I become adult at a very young age. So rather than enjoy my childhood life, the playing, uh, making the friends, I taken up the responsibility of the family responsibility, helping the parents in their house chores, work, plus doing helping them in earning, assisting them in making something reasonable for the family. That's why I am always regret that I didn't really enjoy my personal life. Whether I can play, I can make friends, I can go out and like that. That's the regret I'm still having.
You could do that now, like play
Yeah.
games and all.
Probably that's the reason I'm enjoying my life today.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So, Papa, on the same note, what advice would you give to a 24-year-old Sanjay?
Okay, if I go back in time, I will say, Sanjay, enjoy the life. Don't focus only on work and family. You should also need to take out time for yourself. And the things which I haven't done in my life, I want to do it again.
This question is one that I struggle with the most. So the question is, how do you stop caring what people think?
I always believe people will say what they want to say. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, छोड़ो बेकार की बातों को बीत जाइए रहना. So what that means, people will have their own opinion. They will always say what they want to say. You cannot stop people. So if you start affecting that things on your mind, then it will affect on your health. It will lose your confidence. You will never improve yourself. So I will say it's advice to all the young generation that just that's why God has given us 2 years. From 1 year you can listen, other years you can take out. So only consider the things which are good, which are benefits to you, your career, your life, your uh, improvement. That's thing you can hear. The rest of the things, if you feel it's not really related to your life and it's going to affect you badly, just ignore it.
Yeah. I think this will help a lot of our listeners as well. So, we are now second part of my podcast, which is the generation gap gold. So, the question is, what do people my age totally misunderstand about your generation?
Uh, Truly speaking, Mrinmay, it is not your problem. This problem will remain generation to generation. If you talk about myself and my dad versus my grandfather versus my great grandfather, and same similar with you and me, along with you and your child and your grandchild. So, what the generation needs to understand, the current generation needs to understand the previous generation, what was their situation, how they grown up, how they brought their life, how they succeed, and how they fail. Then you will understand what was the reason of their current behavior. It is just because of their previous circumstances,
Right.
the situation from there, what they gone. Imagine previously the people used to have the six children, 7 children, but now the family is becoming the smaller and smaller. It is now the 2 child or 3 child.
Yeah.
With your generation, it will be only one child.
Yeah.
So definitely, during that time, the parent used to keep their children very strictly. They not able to provide what they're supposed to provide. So they haven't got that chance, and their children didn't get that opportunity to grow in their life. But now the salary structure has changed, the income has changed, so we can afford that. So definitely, your generation needs to understand what is the previous generation, how they came up, how they grown up,
Yeah.
what are their thoughts. It based on their previous experiences, their previous circumstances. So I will say to this generation, at least sit with your parents, discuss with them, start the discussion openly, start asking the questions rather than as a parents or as a children, start as a work, dealing as a friends. So definitely we can mitigate this generation gap.
On the same lines, what do you think Gen Z is doing right?
See, Gen Z is very active. Mm, they are helping the old generation to bring into the new technology.
Yeah.
But one thing they should also realize, that the old generation, the generation X and Y, are still learning because it's a new for them. The way your parents has taught you when you were young, the similar way your generation needs to teach them in a similar fashion. Not considering that you don't know anything, oh, you are not like to our generation. Probably this Gen Z really needs to understand the differences and needs to explain them wisely.
Yeah. This is a personal question. So, did your parents understand you the way I expect you to understand me?
As I said in your previous question, that the generation gap will always be there. During that time, the situation was different, the condition was different, the environment was different. When we were young, we used to walk 4 and 5 kilometer to reach to the school.
Yeah.
Okay, when I started my primary education, I used to walk 3 kilometer. When I started my uni, I used to do the cycling of 6 kilometer. When I started my first job, I used to go 20 kilometer. So 3 kilometer cycling, 12 kilometer of train, and then again walking. So, so you can understand the situation what we gone. So currently you are enjoying because from the day you here you always seen driving in a car, but we received that lavishness recently.
Yeah.
So definitely we the the parents our time and parents during your time is a total different. So probably we cannot expect that they need to understand because the situation was not the way the situation is today.
Yeah. But I feel like the traveling part, every Gen Z must have heard this from their parents or grandparents, how they have struggled to go to work and like, how some of them swam across rivers to go to work. So I feel like that's something we all can relate to, like you millennials can relate to because you have been through it, but we Gen Zs often take it as a joke because we think, oh, everyone is just saying, oh, they used to swim and stuff, how come life was that hard? But like, we don't understand that life was not as this easy as it is right now because of all the roads, the infrastructures, they weren't existing at that time. So
I will give good example. Today we are doing this podcast on mobile, okay,
yeah.
on laptop, okay. During our time, if someone passed, expired, so we used to go at least 1 or 2 kilometer to find the nearest post office or nearest telephone center where we can do the call and inform, and that time also we used to send the telegram. The phone was not available, so so definitely the situation has is changed in last 10-15 years drastically.
Yeah. This is a very good. This was a very good session, I would say. So now we are in the final round of our podcast. So this is a quick fire round, Papa. You just have to give the answers straight away, okay? So the first question is, what is one job you never want me to do?
Never work under anyone. I will always say that you work independently and become an entrepreneur.
Okay. So the next question, if I go broke following my dreams, would you let me move back in?
Yes, as a parent, I will always support you and I will become your most supporter in any condition, any situation in your life.
Thank you. That's sweet. So this question is, I think I know the answer already. Would I survive in the 80s? Why or why not?
Surely not.
Why?
Because the way you're thinking, your approach, the way you look at the people, definitely that during that time you wouldn't have survived. It's again a generation gap, I will say.
Okay. So, same thing now. The next question is, do you think I complain too much or not enough?
Oh, too much complaint. It's a non-stop complaint. Sometimes I ask myself, is it whether really my daughter? Sometimes you are full with a complaint box. Oh,
But I have valid points, no?
not always.
Okay. But most of the time, like 90% of the time.
Maybe that I am accepting or I am entertaining.
Okay. This is why I didn't like family segments because I knew all of this kind of questions would come out in the podcast. So again.
But I still try to keep it to as much secret as possible.
Okay, so the final question is, what would you do if I vanished for a week with no explanation?
Then I will stay there. Don't come back. Because if you went without informing us, that means there is a valid reason. So why should I entertain to call you back and stay with me? Then you stay where you want to stay.
So would you not try to find out where I've gone?
Why? Because that means you need to understand. It's 7 days. If you are vanishing without informing us, that means you have lost the trust on us. That our relation is so weak that you are feeling that no need to tell. So I will give my blessings to you. You stay where you stay. Don't come back again to me.
No, because I've seen this girl on my Instagram. She like goes on international trips without informing her parents. So one night they're sleeping, and the same night she leaves and she's gone. So when she reaches there after 2-3 days, and she calls her parents like, "Oh hi, I'm in this country, blah blah blah."
See, I like the surprises, but the surprises should not affect on relationship, because one misunderstanding always damages the relationship. And I think as a parent or as a children, you need to understand, parent will shout you, they will scream, but they will always try to protect you. They always try to entertain you. They always want that my child should be in a secure and safety environment, that their life should not spoil. So I am a strong believer that our relationship as a parent and children should be like that, that they should speak openly, whether they want to go disco, they want to go with their friends, whether they want to do whatever they want, but at least inform the parents. That type of parents I am having.
Yeah.
So I think to question your summary, that's 7 days without vanish, I will say you stay there and enjoy your life. Don't call me again.
Okay. So, thank you, Papa. That was pretty deep, slightly emotional, and mildly exposing, and honestly kind of healing. Big love to Papa for being real with us today, and hope to see you soon in our next podcast. Catch you next time on MrunMystique, Curious Minds and Chaotic Vibes. Bye bye.